Okay, here we go. Recompute it. Okay, let's find a new route.
And it may have some white patches on it. And now the tongue. The tongue has a peculiar appearance. We call it a strawberry tongue. So it's red raw and the papillae are enlarged, so it looks just like a strawberry. Then you will have your temperature, 38 degrees or more, and then a rash. A rash that starts in your groin, goes up your trunk, down your arms, and this rash looks like, feels like sandpaper. So look, parents, listeners, viewers, you do not need all these signs to then say, I've got strep A concerns. If you got one or two or even three of these signs, that's enough. That's enough for you to say, don't sit on it, go to your doctor, call your doctor and do something about it.
And we should point out, I think, that the rash that people get on their torso, if you have white, fair skin, it's fairly obvious to see. If you have dark, black skin, it's less obvious to see, but it's still very raised and very itchy.
That is correct, yes, and thank you again for pointing that out. That in fair skin, it's ever so clear because you get those little red pimples. But in darker skin, brown people, black people, it is harder to see. But you should be attuned to it feels like sandpaper. That's another big clue there.
All right, thank you very much indeed, Barrett. Dr. Barrett Pankania, who's a senior clinical lecturer in public health medicine at Exeter Medical School. 21 minutes to 11, we're talking about whether or not you think the government should get tougher or maybe even less tough at the moment dealing with the unions. They seem to have firmed up their stance today with the Prime Minister making noises about they can't do business with the unions at the moment, they might have to rethink things. And then quite interestingly, I thought that the spokesman for the Prime Minister, who does a sort of daily unattributed briefing, so we don't know who it is, said that when asked, would emergency legislation be introduced to stop essential workers going on strike, so banning them, like nurses and ambulance people who save people's lives, we're ruling nothing in or nothing out. Do you think that the government should get tough, or what do we do? There's a suggestion that to give everyone the money that they're asking for would cost in the region of maybe higher than £30 billion, which would mean it's been worked out around about £1,000 per household. Would you be prepared to pay that? I'm a teacher. I haven't had the public pension payment for 10 years. You blame me for thinking about striking. I'm a London paramedic, says this texter here. The army won't be doing anything but driving. Won't be dealing with patients. We'll still treat, assess and manage patients. It's more than first aid. And another texter here saying, I'd rather pay the extra £1,000 in tax to help those in need than pay an extra £2,000 to line the pockets of the energy companies who are making money on the British people's natural resources. If, by the way, at any point anyone would like to defend either the rich, the super rich, or the oil companies, be our guest, because you're outnumbered. Chris is in South Wales. Hi, Chris.
Hi, good evening.
Then turn
Two points I'd like to make. The first one is that the government is being entirely disingenuous with the total cost of settling these claims. You just quoted 30 billion, for example. Okay. Well, let's say it's gross 30 billion. Of that, at least 10 billion, and probably quite a bit more, would immediately come back to the government in additional income tax and national insurance contributions from the staff receiving it.
I'll take your word for it. I don't know the maths, but okay.
Yeah, I mean, income tax is 20%, national insurance about 11%, so that's 30% of it straight away goes back to the government. In addition to that, there would be increased pension contributions, student loan repayments, and so on. So even if the gross amount was 30 billion, that comes down by well over a third into what it would actually cost the government net.
Okay.
That was the first.
What's your conclusion then?
Well, they're being disingenuous.
Well, I'll be honest with you, I don't think it's a goer, because I think that's what the emergency services are already saying, isn't it?
Well,
really? You know, when they say, oh... knowing the way that they feel about their job and how they look after people, would turn around and go, no, I'm on the picket line, sorry.
Yeah, I think it's a more fundamental question than that. If the government laid out minimum levels of service, for example, the NHS or for train services, during strike times, what would happen when they don't meet those minimum levels of service when they're not on strike?
Exit. Well, don't stop. Let's not go.
I can see immediately people launching.
You're opening too many cans, Chris, and worms are just flying out of all of them. But thank you for your thoughts. Isaac has sent me. Now, I'm never sure whether or not to actually believe everything that's sent to me in a statistical paper, but I'll go with this one because it does actually look fairly official. Isaac was talking about that gentleman who rang in. He's rang in to us a couple of times, apparently, rang in Ferrari at breakfast, saying, I could save you £20 billion on the staff list of the NHS before anything, talking about middle management, etc. So Isaac's just sent me this. This is from the King's Fund. They do a kind of fact check when it comes to finances, and they're talking about how many managers. So this is actually from the 2011 government white paper, Equity and Excellence Liberating the NHS. So the NHS Information Centre, which has stats about the NHS, say that there were, how many people here? 43,000 NHS managers. This was back in 2009, so I don't have any more modern figures. And that's about 3.7% of the whole NHS workforce. Okay, and you can compare that to the number of people who work in management positions in the rest of the country, and it's a great deal higher than that. So, like I say, this is from some time ago, but there's statistics suggesting that 3.7% of the total workforce were managers. But according to the Office for National Statistics, the proportion of managers in the UK workforce as a whole in June 2010 was 15.4%. Like I say, sorry I haven't got any figures more modern than that, but I think that's an interesting take. Could we just remove all managers from the NHS? I'm not sure. It's 14 to 11.
LBC, Nick Ferrari at breakfast.
TM coming under pressure to accelerate strike-busting legislation. Britain facing more than 1 million working days looking to be lost to strikes this month alone, the worst since 1989. Stephen in Guildford.
They are fighting for their survival, and they're fighting for the survival of their services. I catch a train every single day. You can guarantee 3 of them days will be disrupted in some way. Or there's not a driver.
The driver not turning up. Who's Whose fault is that?
No, because you haven't got enough drivers.
No, it's because the driver hasn't turned up for work.
No, it's nothing to do with that.
Of course
and
it
it's
is.
the trouble. No, you see, you're brainwashed as well.
Nick Ferrari at breakfast. Back tomorrow morning from 7. Listen on your radio and on Global Player, LBC.
If you're looking to trim your spending, checking for subscriptions that you no longer need could be an easy win. The Barclays app makes it simple. You can view your subscriptions and upcoming payments in one place, helping you to manage your spending. You might even spot some other savings you can make right now too. For more money help, search Barclays Cost of Living. Barclays, make money work for you. You need to be 11 or over to access this product or service using the app. T's and C's apply.
I'm James O'Brien. Do join me for my podcast series, Full Disclosure, an in-depth and delightfully eclectic interview series. Listen now on Global Player.
The new Elizabeth line just got even better. With faster, direct journeys 7 days a week from Heathrow to Farringdon in just 42 minutes. And now Bond Street Station is open on the Elizabeth line, connecting more people and places than ever before. The new Elizabeth line, bringing more of London together. To the Mayor of London and TfL, every journey matters. Faster than previous Elizabeth line journeys based on average off-peak journey times.
Little Bear, do you think you're this year's sweetest Christmas character? I can happily report that Little Bear doesn't compare itself to other Christmas characters, but talking sweet, Little Spavarina mince pies are just £1.09, and the deluxe sharing melt-in-the-middle Christmas pudding is only £6.99. Because Lidl is big on a Christmas you can believe in. Subject to availability, excludes NI.
Right, what shall we watch?
Dunno. Same thing we watched last Christmas and the Christmas before that.
Come on, we can do better. Pass the Sky remote. Hello, Sky. Show us something Christmassy.
Watch all of the best Christmas TV from Sky and Netflix together from just £23 a month. And it works over Wi-Fi. No dish or installation. Just plug it in. Order now for next day delivery. Ends 29th of December. Requires Sky Stream and broadband minimum speed 10 megabits per second. 18-month minimum term. Setup fee £20. Order restrictions apply for next day delivery. 18 plus.
O2's Black Friday deals are now on. Save up to £500 on the Samsung Galaxy S22. Now from just $16.55 a month when you trade in a Samsung Galaxy. Search O2 Black Friday. O2, we're better connected.
Plus RPI plus 3.9%. £500 saving over 36 months. End 7th of December 2022. 36-month device plan with linked airtime plan up to 24 months. 18 plus credit checks. Eligibility and terms apply.
Ian Payne on LBC.
There's some brilliant headlines in the newspapers. I've just got them. I would normally read them out now, but I think we might introduce a new feature after 11 o'clock. I will read out the headline. You guess the paper. It's becoming more and more obvious as the two sides in the political dispute become more entrenched and they see the election looming. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes' time. Let's continue with the loads of you still want to talk about what the government should do when it comes to the strikes that are being planned. Strikes on every day of this month, apart from next Monday coming up, as someone will surely fill that void before we go. 03456060973. The government hinting through the Prime Minister and more pointedly through the Prime Minister's spokesperson today that nothing is being ruled out when it comes to new legislation to force people going on strike to work, particularly essential workers like nurses and ambulance staff. Andrew's in Acton. What do you think, Andrew?
Hi, Ian.
Hi.
I think we need to understand the problem in order to work out what the solution is.
Always.
And the problem is that basic vital stuff is getting more expensive worldwide. I'm talking energy, I'm talking fertilizer, I'm talking food, and therefore other prices. The second part of the problem is we in this country, probably in the world, but we in this country are not increasing production, therefore wealth, as fast as these prices are rising.
Exit right.
Therefore, almost everyone in the world, or in this country, is getting poorer.
Right.
Not perhaps the super rich.
Okay.
So, what happens if in response to this problem you increase wages? It's not going to help, because that's merely going to stoke inflation, increase prices.
Well, hold on. Everybody who wants that to happen says that's trickle-up economics. You pay the less well-off money, they'll spend it. You pay the well-off more money with tax breaks, etc., and they just put it in another investment fund or save it.
I'm afraid that's just not grappling with the problem. Okay. Increasing wages increases costs.
At the roundabout, take the first exit.
And the only answer, any long-term answer,
exit
is
now.
To limit.
Sorry, can I just get that absolutely clear? So if you pay the less well-off more money, public sector workers,
yes,
you say that forces prices to go up, did you say?
Right. Yes.
Go on, explain why.
Because the costs of what they are producing increase.
Turn right.
I see. Because you're paying your works staff more,
yes,
they need to up their prices so they still make a profit.
Yes, or even break even.
All right. And does that and is that reflective of not just private industry but also public sector work as well?
Well, yes, because otherwise the government will just be running in a deficit, and then what it will be doing long term is increasing its borrowing and therefore increasing interest rates, which is another reason why costs are going up.
Okay, go on.
So the only answer, once we've identified this as the problem, the prices are rising faster than wealth is increasing, you need to limit wage increases and increase production. Now, this is difficult to do. Why is it difficult to do? A, you have to persuade people that this genuinely is the solution. They have to understand that it is the solution. And you have to deal with the problem that the poorest people are going to say, well, hold on, why are we going to take this hit, pay restraint, when the really rich people are not hurting?
And the answer is?
The answer is, you better start raising taxes on the really rich people.
And how do we do that? Because it seems a no-brainer, and yet no one's done it.
Well, it's partly because they get hung up on the kind of like the trust argument, oh, well, don't increase taxes, because if you don't increase taxes, you'll keep incentives, and and that the Conservatives phrases are brought into this.
But their theory is that we've learned to our cost that if you let the rich have more money, it all comes down to all of us.
Well,
and that's probably not true.
That doesn't work, and there's no way in a million years you're going to persuade the lower paid to accept pay restraint if you are not going to force the rich to make more.
So what's the answer, Andrew?
Sorry?
But what is the answer here? Sorry, I'm running out of time.
The answer here, as I say, number one, make this argument, explain to people what the problem is, and number two, act to demonstrate that you're making the rich contribute to solve the problem by increased taxes. And the sort of taxes I'm talking about are wealth tax, inheritance tax, and increasing the top rate of tax above, I'm not talking bringing it in at 150, but maybe at 200,000 or something.
But once you start bringing an inheritance tax in, you're starting to tax a whole different part of society. You're starting to tax the middle classes, and that's always a vote loser, isn't it?
Well, maybe, except the middle class are going to be punished as hell by what is going on now. I mean, inflation is a death spiral
to everyone,
for an economy.
Not just to the middle classes, surely.
Not just to the middle classes, but you're saying the middle classes will object to the idea of inheritance.
Inheritance tax, they will, yes, as we've seen.
Yes, they will. And there are lots of people,
but they're not the super rich. If you're just going to tax the super rich, don't introduce higher tax.
So that's it, guys. This is just a